The Dylan Cease experience is turning into a bit of a disaster for the San Diego Padres. I say it's time that we start talking more seriously about the Padres finding another home for Cease and getting something in exchange. What's going on, everybody? It's Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning into the show. If you could hit subscribe, it would be much appreciated. If not, no worries. This is part 2 of what is now going to be a video series of me coming up with ideas, talking through things, rumors, interest, ideas, completely off the wall, completely unrealistic, maybe some realistic, I don't know, but trade ideas for Dylan Cease, because right now, I don't think the numbers are hacking it. I don't get the sense that he is dying to re-sign in San Diego and be a career Padre. I think there's a lot to unpack about, do we need him? Can we get something in exchange for him? Is it addition by subtraction just by the fact of getting rid of him and letting somebody else who is here take over the reins of his spot in the rotation? As we go along, drop comments. Let me know what you think on everything that we're going to talk about. But the main thing that I want to hear from you guys, though, is about it. I feel like the consensus is becoming it's time to trade him, but maybe that's just the echo chamber that I operate in. So if you guys, let's have that debate first. Is it just, should he stay or should he go now? If he go, there will be trouble. If he stay, it might be double. Let's see if I get a copyright strike on that one. But the numbers for Cease are not nearly what they have been in the past. Here's where they sit right now, as of us recording this, a little bit over halfway into the season. If we, and I say this on all the videos where I go to do these hypotheticals about trading him. If I showed you these numbers in a vacuum and had you, and I said, hey, do you think that this is, like, if this is Stephen Kolek, Randy Vasquez, Kyle Hart, Matt Waldron, by, the midpoint of a Padres season, I feel like you would buy that hook, line, and sinker. So right now, Cease is not performing nearly what he is capable of, expected to be. I don't know how much pressure you want to put on these seasons carrying over, but the general consensus going into this year was that Dylan Cease much better pitcher than this. He is not delivering, and I think that the Padres right now, where they are at, being somewhere, I say, between 5 and 10 games of first place as of any time of us recording this, but it's a lot closer to 10 than it is to 5. They need to have a series of important, it's closing in on trade deadline type conversations, and that is, what do we do with guys like Michael King and Dylan Cease who have expiring contracts at the end of this year? Here's the Cease contract. 13-7 this year, and he's an unrestricted free agent next year. He's going to turn 30. Hypothetically, this should be 28 to 31 is kind of that window where if a guy's there on a contract year is expected to get the big one of all the deals that he's going to make. So you're got to assume that he's very open to taking highest bidder or higher bidder than necessarily the San Diego Padres, who have a ton of commitments on the offensive end of this contract spectrum, and the commitments that will grow and grow over the coming years. See Xander, see Manny, see Mayer, all these guys. A lot of money committed, so not necessarily an apparent $25 million a year max contract divide. Not necessarily an owner that's Peter Seidler anymore. It's a different Seidler. It's a group that has said publicly they are looking to shed a little bit of the contract. So that being said, we're at the end of this deal. He's not playing well. I have avoided doing him in many of these trade hypotheticals going back the duration of the season, because I kind of thought at some point he would pull it out and he'd round the corner and he'd start playing better. But alas, here we are, where I'm saying if we call Kyle Hart's back with the squad, I'm not saying that Kyle Hart's going to go 3-8, but he could go 3-8. I don't have any expectation that he wouldn't go 3-8 the rest of the season. So you're telling me if we could get something in return right now for Cease, I think it's great. But also, Kyle Hart could go 3-6 with a. If we plug in Kyle Hart right now, like we just did against the Rangers, and we leave him in the lineup or in the rotation for the rest of this season in Dylan Cease's stead, because say we take an offensive-ended deal, we get, if we got 3-5 with a 4-1, maybe the strikeouts go way down, but no other numbers are maybe we win some of those other games that he plays because the ERA is a little bit lower, so the bullpen gets a chance because guys start hitting better. All of this has got to be obviously contingent on the Padres. All this success talk that we're having is contingent upon the Padres getting better offensively. But I don't know. I'm just saying that maybe we can get something in exchange for him. Maybe the rotation can get better by getting rid of Cease, and that's where I'm talking now. Again, another hypothetical trade. We're going to take a pass at a bunch of different trades, and I've got different videos out on all of them. But the one that I want to throw out there today, Randy Arozarena from the Seattle Mariners. Randy Arozarena is a guy who he is on the end of a contract, expiring deal with the Seattle Mariners this year. He is hitting .250. He is doing okay. Like, he's not doing fantastic. He's not doing the best or the worst that he's ever done, but I think he's very much tradable in exchange for this. Like, he is somebody who I think that the Padres can very reasonably go get as we close in on a deadline where the Padres need some degree of offensive help. Padres need to get a little bit better. Arozarena is a right-handed bat hitting .250, like I said, that the Padres can put in to very easily be DH spot, the backup left fielder. Here, calling up his numbers right here for you. Apologies for it taking a second. 249, 14 home runs. Right now, the Padres need help the Padres need help offensively in aggregate in general, but the Padres need help a DH spot / left fielder. Gavin Sheets turning out to have a fantastic time out there in left field. Not as much of a defensive liability as I had initially thought. He's adapted well. Hitting still decently. So it is less necessary that we get a guy who can plug in all the time to left field. But I think the platoon situation idea here would be find a guy who can come in, be a right-handed bat, because we have so many we have nothing but left-handed bats basically at the major league left field level. Left field position, major league level left field position. So a right-handed bat that can do some situational stuff to take a little bit of pressure off of Sheets, and then also be a right-handed bat at the DH spot and have a little bit of pop and all of that. And the Mariners are a team that they're very much in contention. They're in second place in the AL West. They have mid-tier pitching, mid-tier hitting. So I think parting with a guy who is hitting .250 but got a little bit of pop that Arozarena has. I think Mariners, it could make sense for them to want to part with that in exchange for upgrading some starting pitching, because Arozarena is not necessarily the bat that singularly makes it happen for the Mariners. And adding Cease, he wouldn't have to be the number one guy there, so he can fit in easily to a rental. Maybe that pushes them kind of over the edge in the AL West and helps them be the overall champions that they envision themselves being. I don't know. This is not necessarily one that I've seen a ton of or any, I'm not reacting to rumors here. This is just me throwing out ideas because, like I said, I'm gearing in for a whole series of these. So this one, the Mariners. Arozarena for Cease. Maybe that's like a straight up thing. Maybe there's a couple of other pieces where it's like, Cease and Brandon Lockridge for Arozarena. Like, I don't know. I'm fine with parting with a little other, let's get rid of Trenton Brooks. Let's get rid of some of those dudes. I don't think they make the biggest of impacts, but they can be a bat to kind of 1-to-1 the lineup for the Mariners. I think, though, a guy like Arozarena, a little pop, a 1-year rental. He's been to the playoffs. He knows those vibes. So I think there could be a really good mutual interest where just both guys find a new home and find a little bit of a bounce back down the stretch of the season. Let me know, though, what you think about this deal and other ones that you want to talk about where we are just, let's dish Cease. Let's play all of the hypothetical GM that we can right now, and let's move Dylan Cease in as many different trades as possible before, just to entertain ourselves, before AJ finally gets around to doing something, or doing nothing, and then it all just falls apart, or doing nothing, and then it all comes together. I don't know. That's the fun about baseball, is that we get to all ride this emotional roller coaster together all summer long. If you could hit the subscribe button, that would be great, because that way we can just easily deliver you content all summer long. But if not, no worries. We will be here talking baseball. Until next time, keep the faith, Padres fans. 2025 is going to keep on getting better and better.